Hi there, it's Tamaradorris, your real estate coach. And today I want to talk to you. Well, I want to ask you a question. Do you need a coach? Do you need a therapist? Or do you need some other unicorn that is a combination of both? That's one I'm voting for. But let's look at the layout of what each of those consists of. With a coach, and you know, if you've been in real estate longer than 10 minutes, there are a lot of coaches out there. Many of them are people who are top producers who instinctively figured out, or maybe they were just born with the ability to be go-getters, don't have a lot of limiting beliefs, and they just went out and they just nailed it, and they sell a lot of houses. And so they're like, you know what? I'm going to be a real estate coach now. And so that's great from a training perspective because they can teach you techniques, they can teach you processes, they can teach you systems, they can teach you scripts. So that's real estate coaching. Another big aspect, even for a lot of agents a lot of coaches are not real estate agents. In fact, very few of the real estate coaches who are really, worldwide, if that's a thing, or nationwide, aren't practicing agents because the coaching is their whole business. And I get that, full respect. But I want to be clear that the role of a real estate coach has always been the systems, the scripts, the processes, the procedures, the accountability. With real estate coaching, I remember when I worked as a coach for, well, I won't say the company, but with a very well-known franchise, and it was $1,000 a month for me to talk to you 30 minutes a week, and it was basically me asking you, who did you call? How many escrows do you have? What's going on? What are you going to do next week? What can you commit to? So 30 minutes a week. So that equals out to be 2 hours a month, $1,000. Okay. So the idea behind this, because this has been going on for many years, the idea behind this is that the agent who hires this person, and it's usually a 1-year commitment. I used to do 6 months, but it's a pretty hefty commitment. The idea behind it, or the psychology behind it, is if you're paying that much, you've got to take action. And the funny thing is, and not funny, haha, but ironic funny, is people who didn't take the action, it wouldn't matter how much money they spent. They thought that if they invested that much money, it would inspire and motivate them to take the action. But because it wasn't a real estate coaching block that caused their inability to create the abundant business that they wanted, the accountability coaching doesn't help. Doesn't matter how much you pay for it. Okay, so that's a real estate coach. Just to be clear, a coach is someone, and it doesn't have to be real estate. It could be a life coach, right? But a coach is someone specifically for real estate who teaches you scripts and systems, gives you a marketing plan, helps you with ideas, helps you when clients, things go haywire with clients, talks you off the ledge when need be, and keeps you accountable. And it's usually done in a group setting nowadays. But you're still going to pay for that, right? That's group coaching or coaching, real estate coaching. Next, let's look at therapy. Therapy, and I will just say as a full disclosure, I started out on the path to be a psychotherapist, but I found that I didn't agree with the philosophy of traditional coaching, or I'm getting all mixed up, traditional psychotherapy, because you spend so much time in the past. You dig up childhood stuff, and and people get uncomfortable with it, and nobody likes it. Who wants to do that, right? Plus, I really, really believe that where we put our focus, it creates more of that in our life. So if I'm going to have you sit there and talk about the things that happened to you when you were 5 years old, and they're very traumatic or not happy things, that's just going to put that energy out there, and you're going to attract more of that kind of stuff in your life. So that's traditional therapy. Therapy can be good when you need to get things off your chest, or you need to work through if there's deep trauma. Of course, I would never say don't go do therapy, because therapy can be very useful. Mental disorders, 100%. I don't touch those anymore, right? So that's therapy. And again, full disclosure number 2 is I'm a certified hypnotherapist and have been for many, many years. That was the route that I took because I found it more beneficial to go into someone's subconscious mind and elicit the changes that they wanted to make without including their conscious mind in the process, where it could be more painful. So I found that more effective in my experience than traditional therapy. But again, not knocking traditional therapy. There is a time and a place for it. So therapy is where you go to talk to someone. You see it on TV shows all the time, right? Someone goes to talk to their therapist and they can just talk about anything. And then the therapist says, and how does that make you feel? It's a lot of that stuff, but it's called talk therapy. Now, to be fair, there are therapists like my daughter, who is more of a coach and a holistic practitioner than she's a therapist, but she is a licensed therapist. She used things like, EMDR and EFT and a lot of the same modalities that I use. So there are therapists who are more progressive. So I think those are wonderful people. But so we have real estate coach, and then we have therapist. Then we have the little magical unicorn in the middle, which is where I come in. And that is someone who knows and understands and utilizes all the best aspects of real estate coaching, meaning the systems, excellent marketing, I don't believe in scripts, but the conversations that we have with people, the accountability, all of that. But it also takes from this school of thought with the therapy, like understanding that when I say, okay, how many people are you going to reach out to this week? Let's just say that we're doing that kind of conversation. And you're like, okay, 5. I'm going to make 5 new friends on Facebook that live in my hyperlocal area. But then you come back and the next time we chat, you haven't done that. That's not a real estate coaching issue. That's a therapy issue, right? And we've already established that traditional therapy might not be the best way to overcome self-limiting beliefs. I haven't found it to be true. This is why I have formed my own format in my coaching. And what I do that's different is, I use EFT. I also use meditation. I also use hypnotherapy, and I also use kind of a relatively new program that deals with your superconscious mind. It's a new modality, and it's really, really wonderful, where we can bypass the chit chat and the bad memories, and you don't have to do all the work with EFT, all the tapping all over the place, which comes in handy now and then. But it allows you to move past those limiting beliefs. And remember, your limiting beliefs, which are relatively unconscious, really, they're like 90% of your thinking. So if you know what you have to do to sell houses and you're not doing it, you don't need a real estate coach per se. You need a real estate coach, therapist, unicorn, right? So one of the other things that we do in my magnetic marketing program is we do uncover those things that may be uncomfortable, but you don't have to sit with them. You don't have to worry about them. I do the work, right? I have so many energetic scientific devices that I actually do energy clearings on you from your unconscious mind while you're sitting there doing whatever you're doing. And I can operate it from my device here, of course, with your permission. And it's not as crazy and kooky as that might just sound. But energy work is very effective. I also use the sound therapy because we know that the frequency of sound can penetrate beyond the brain-blood barrier where your conscious mind is and get into the unconscious. And I'm telling you, if you're not selling as many houses as you want to, it's not because you don't have a good coach who's not telling you what to do. It's probably because you have unconscious self-limiting beliefs that are holding you back. And I've noticed online lately, because everyone's a coach, and I have no ego or arrogance about it when I look and I'm like, okay, everyone's a coach now. Never mind, I've been doing it 20 years. I'm not like that because I don't care. I don't care that there are other people helping. I think it's a beautiful thing. I only want to help the people that are called to come be helped with me. Does that make sense? So I'm great with everyone being a coach. The point that I wanted to make with this is that there are so many people in the online space right now in coaching and therapy and healing, talking about self-limiting beliefs, change the subconscious beliefs, and again, I know I just said that and I've been saying it for years, but again, what I have found that happens is that a lot of people get so caught up in, I've got to change my self-limiting beliefs, that they're putting all of their attention on that, right? And that in and of itself is a big mistake. Because if you come to me and you're like, I know I have self-limiting beliefs, can we work on them? Self-limiting beliefs, you're putting so much attention on it. And where attention goes, energy flows, right? So you don't want to do that. You want to make sure that you are absolutely keeping your eye on the carrot. So that's where I think, in my opinion, traditional therapy kind of drops the ball, because it's always saying, let's look at your past, let's look at your past. And I'm like, no. Tell me the future that we're going to create, and I'm going to help you create it. And I'm going to do things behind the scenes. I'm going to do things when we're talking. I'm going to do things on our group calls. You're going to make that progress because we're working at it from all angles, from coaching, from therapy, from unicorn, right? So that is the whole goal of magnetic marketing. It is nothing like any real estate coaching program or school or training that you have ever had, because I'm going to look at you as a whole person holistically, but with a really, really sharp marketing mind, very, very intuitive, lots of energetic tools, and many, many years of coaching and, and hypnotherapy and EFT and that stuff. So if any of that sounds intriguing or interesting, or you want to check me out more, join my Facebook group. It's on the links below. Take my free class. Take my $27 class. Lots of stuff is out there to look at. Lots of books I have. All my books, I think, are free on Kindle Unlimited. So anyway, would love to chat with you if you're interested. We have this summer a new stretch of magnetic marketing opening up in June. So I look forward to hearing from you, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Thanks for now.